Good afternoon, everyone. I have a feeling today is going to be a good day, given the crowd that we have with us today. I'd like to welcome all of you here, and I would ask if you're able to please join us and stand for a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Please join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Get a roll call, please.
Brad Hent.
Here.
Ken Snyder.
Here.
Steve Hamel.
Here.
Chantal Ostra. Here. Tom Akers.
Here.
All right, next item up is the approval of the agenda. I'll take a motion for that.
So moved. Support.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Hamel.
Aye.
Ostra. Aye. Eggers.
Aye.
Snyder.
Aye.
Hent.
Aye.
All right, moving into the public forum portion of our meeting. Is there anyone wishing to address the council at this time for matters not on the agenda? Or on the agenda if you'd want. I see no movement, so any written comments?
None.
All right, let's move on to item 4, which is a proclamation. I'm going to read, this is unbelievable. I was around 50 years ago, and this just kind of ages me a little bit, but I can remember the start of the village back then. In fact, I was a high schooler. One of the my first memories of the village was an event was held in Hills Park. Our church youth group met with some of the first residents of the village at that time, and I'm pretty sure Keith Crum was one of those, and he's still a resident today, and a neighbor of mine, as a matter of fact. But I'm glad to have so many of you here today, and I just want you to know, as a community, what a blessing you are to the community, and I hope that we as a community are also a blessing to you. I think Sheldon has taken an identity, and a very good one at that, because in part of the role that the village plays in this community. The annual celebration, the June 4th of July celebration was one thing, but many people, one of our larger employers in town, and we're just grateful that you are here today and here as part of this community. So as you find seats, I'm just going to read a proclamation of the city of Sheldon, Iowa. And it begins, whereas Village Northwest Unlimited was founded in 1975 to assist people with disabilities in pursuing their hopes and dreams, and whereas Village North Unlimited has provided purpose, privacy, and dignity to all people, and whereas Village Northwest Unlimited has for 50 years recognized and endorsed the rights of persons with disabilities to experience all of life functions of their choice, including employment and participating in community activities. And whereas the Village Northwest has faithfully upheld the teachings of Jesus Christ to teach others with love and compassion, and whereas Village Northwest Unlimited is recognized as one of the premier service organizations in the United States for individuals with a developmental or physical disability, autism, a traumatic brain injury, and whereas Village Northwest Unlimited offers programs and services that meet internationally recognized standards of the Commission on Accreditation of Rehabilitation Facilities, and now therefore in recognition and acknowledgement of Village Northwest Unlimited's past and in acceptance of its mission to continue to define the standard of care for people with disabilities, we, the undersigned, announce and proclaim the celebration of Village Northwest Unlimited's 50th anniversary. Such occasion to be celebrated from January 1, 2025 to December 31, 2025, and that's going to be a long party. May God's divine benevolence be with Village Northwest Unlimited, the people it serves, and the village's dedicated employees now and in the future. And we will move on then to the signing. And if you would, come please join me, those of you that are coming up to the stage here.
You guys can stay. We want you in the picture.
Do we need to move?
I was just gonna make a comment. It's already been right there.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. The original.
Okay. Yeah.
So there's one door right there.
Bless you, John.
How many years? Yeah, okay. Can I trust you? Here?
So they are two
Front center, there you go.
residents that were admitted. Yeah. So right now, what we're going to do is we're going to take a picture as Greg is signing the proclamation. After Greg's done signing the proclamation, then we're going to ask him to stand, and he's going to hold the proclamation for another picture for everybody. So first Greg's going to sign the proclamation, okay?
Sneed?
Actually,
Doesn't take
write it in 3 different languages.
All right. You want me to sit back? Would that be better if I sit?
Yeah,
I think so.
let's do that. And then maybe share the proclamation with Dakota.
Good Lord.
All right. There we go.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Councilman.
Thank
Sam?
you.
Thank you. Appreciate your time.
Appreciate you.
All right, thank you, everybody, for
You're
coming and
welcome.
being part of this. Appreciate it.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I should have been doing this. But then I'd have to be You're in town.
Yeah, right. It had to be in the picture.
There you go.
Welcome.
Grab something in my mailbox, I see. I'll try and pick it up on the way out. Thank you, Barry.
Thanks, Barry.
you get the lowrider, Andy? How many years ago did we budget for new chairs?
I know.
We're not that tight, are we?
Some of those houses out there, you're not finishing project.
Something like a low rider. No, we did not.
It's a good deal out there.
Bring you a folding chair.
It's a good, it's a good, we appreciate it. Yeah, it's a good place. You know, for the residents, the families. It's neat to hear, you know, people from far west California, those guys from Alaska, you know,
All right, let's move on.
child here in Colorado.
Uh,
We should leave the doors open.
Yeah,
We'll
yeah.
just give it a minute. Back to normal.
If you want to open those in a little bit, the doors? Yeah, okay. Let's move on then to our item 5, the consent agenda. We'll need approval for that.
So moved.
Support? Yeah. Okay, good, thank you. Roll call, please.
Ostra. Aye. Eggers.
Aye.
Snyder.
Aye.
Hamel.
Aye.
Hint.
Aye.
All right, item 7, under new business, A, west elevated tank exterior repainting. Todd, I'm assuming you want to talk to us a little bit about that?
Yeah, just, it's a project that's been a need for a while. We've been wanting to get the new tower into service before we took the old tower out for some maintenance work. It's a lot easier to run a water system. You have an elevated source. Without it, it causes a whole bunch of troubles, not only with fire protection, but just providing water in a general stance. So anyways, what you have in front of you is a project that will go out to bid then February 13th, and then hopefully have you award the project on February 19th. Estimated cost is $460,000-ish. I had sent you an email to let you know that does include what I call a shower curtain on there for protection for surrounding structures. That does add a fair amount of money, but without it, you're assuming a fair amount of risk. So I would recommend we move as it is. And the paint job you see is similar to the other tower, not quite as much detail, but still similar to the other tower. That's kind of the feeling I got when I spoke with you prior to today. If that's something you want to change, we can, but otherwise, that's the design that staff feels like we should move forward with. So I'll stand for questions.
Well, the curtain's a good deal with the localized, with the neighborhood right in the area.
Yeah.
So as it stands, the base bid is the graphics included, correct?
That is correct.
So the difference would be the 210,000 minus the 21,000?
No, the 21,000 is actually for a different grade of paint.
Oh, okay.
Something that I likely will not recommend. It's got a shorter lifespan than the other. We decided to bid both just in case there was a substantial difference, but the top painting number is for something that we anticipate getting 25 to 30 years out of. The bottom painting number is something that we would anticipate getting 15 to 20 years out of.
Okay.
So we are recommending the better grade of paint, but bidding the other as an alternate just in case. Same paint scheme, both prices, just a different grade of paint.
So what is the deduct if you were to eliminate the graphics?
So
Roughly.
it's bigger than just the graphics, Greg. It's the multicolors, and with the orange, you got to put a protectant on there, or you can't get it at the 15-year paint warranty. 10 to 15,000 to do the upgraded paint versus standard white with black letters.
That to me seems money well spent. As good as the other one looks, and it's coordinated, I don't think that's out of line then, is my own thought.
I like it.
It coordinates with the other our colors.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, one thing to point out with the decals on this one, your lettering's going to be a little bit smaller than on the other tank because of the shape of the tank and because of the catwalk that's around this tank. So readability from Highway 60 would be limited, so we're actually proposing facing the decals east and west. You'll get a nice view, say down 11th Street over to 2nd Avenue, Business 60. Be very readable from there. You might make it out a little bit from Highway 60, but it'll be tough. But this tank's quite a bit further away from the highway than the east tank is, so that's another reason why we rotate.
Is that the same font?
It is the same font, yes. It's just,
Okay.
and we actually put the curved letters on there once in a couple, and it just, with the shape of the tank and the catwalk railing, you make it just didn't look good. Or in my mind, it didn't look good.
The only thought I had along the lines was, would it be appropriate to put City of Sheldon since it's really in the city proper? You know, whereas the other one is more of a invitation card kind of location. But that was the only thing I was going to mention here today. So it could stay exactly the way it is, just could we put up in the corner City of?
Probably can, just understand that'll be quite small lettering. You won't see it from very far away.
Right.
Sam, you have a question?
Yeah, Todd, you and I have talked about the co-location of antennas and other things, and it's you want to address that in case that comes up later?
Sure. So there was, we did have a tenant on this tower that was leasing some space. They had to take down their equipment so that we could do this paint job. They relocated to another area. For what we were getting out of that lease, to be honest with you, there wasn't a lot of benefit to us. We are making provisions in case we ever want to allow a leaser back up there, just as we did with the east tank. But as of right now, there's none that I would recommend we allow. But if the right deal came along, we certainly would want to take advantage of it. There are some decent revenue producers.
What about lighting on this one? Are we going to light it up like the other one?
That is not in our plan, mainly because of where it sits and having the space to actually put in the poles and light it up. You know, this, I guess I didn't measure this site, but the footprint of this site is tiny.
Mm-hmm.
You know, out east, we have, we're on a 3-acre parcel.
Okay.
But buying that extra acreage will save the city money someday down the road when maintenance costs come around.
Any other questions?
I'll make the motion to approve the plans and specifications.
We can take it all in one if you would like, the setting of the bid opening and the hearing as
Sure.
well.
I'll also have the bid opening and public hearing set.
Okay? We have support. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Snyder.
Aye.
Hint.
Aye.
Ostra. Aye. Hamel.
Aye.
Eggers.
Aye.
All right, very good. Next item there is the introduction of the public records request policy. Any comments on that, Sam?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. So this is a long time in coming. This is a housekeeping item, and it's something that I really should have done 5 years ago, but anyway, it's something that we're taking care of now. There's been some recent legislative changes that have prompted this as well, relating to what can be charged. Just to basically, there's only a couple of instances that I can recall where this would have come into play, where we would have to review what goes out and have Micah review it. We'd had a complaint once involving the police department, and when Chief Birch was here, we dealt with future similar requests he put together a complaint form that people can download or access on our website and file with the police department, and so that helped limit the need for large record requests as well, because then the police department could investigate citizen concerns that way as well. So anyway, so I've sent a message to the department heads asking them for their feedback on this, and once I hear back, this will come back to you probably on consent unless there's a reason to have it on new business. Any questions?
There are a couple of sentences or paragraphs that are highlighted. What's the significance of the highlight?
Yeah, those are highlighted because I've got department directors that need to review that,
Okay,
particularly emergency services, and how does, a police department handle a request or ambulance. So we were told when this was given to us that libraries and emergency services sometimes have their own processes. Library plans to adopt this once it's done and just follow our process.
okay. Any other questions? If not, I'll take a motion for approval.
And this is just an
Oh,
introduction.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yep, discussion only, sorry. So then, let's move on then to introduction of the draft local option sales tax and tax increment financing budgets. Who wants to address that? You?
Okay, so I'll start. You want to finish, or do you have anything? You just want me to go? Let's go? Okay. All right, so this gives you time to digest two of the larger parts of the budget. Would have preferred to have presented this earlier, but with strategic planning, this was as soon as we could get it to you. Here are some highlights. So Todd and Angie and I were the main three that met on this, and we did involve some of the other department heads, but this really needs your input, and the three of us will not be offended if you decide you want to change something. So talking about loss first, one of the local option sales tax, one of the property insurance increases over the last number of years have just been colossal. I haven't, I've asked Larry at Perspective to send me a list, but if I remember when I came to town, it seemed like the premium was in the low 100s 6 years ago. So now it's 404,000. So, and yes, we have had some claims, but the last few years it's been pretty good. The lost has two important facets of emergency services in it. One is the 10% set aside, which is another 105,000 this year. And then if you scroll down, you'll see 183,000 for police and fire capital. The second bullet point from the bottom of the lost paragraph. And so there's a fair amount of, out of $1,050,000 in new money, you have a pretty good investment in emergency services. We have a note, a general obligation note has fallen off the books and is now paid off. That kind of really doesn't belong in this paragraph, but it's an important note. There's been an increase in recycle bin drops for costs, so we have that in there. And then I also have the requests from partner organizations for loss. Those have been placed at the bottom of the sheet. Funding all of them at what they are requesting will require you to dip into reserves, although by a relatively small amount. Mid-Sioux Opportunity and Golf Course are requesting an increase. Upper Des Moines and Family Crisis requesting the same. Any questions on lost? Angie, do you have anything to add on lost?
I do not.
You do not? Okay. Okay, we can always come back to lost if you want to come back. So TIF, STDC, 4% increase is what the recommendation is, from 130 to 135, 200. Storefront, no increase. That's been at 20,000 for a long time. It may be asked for an increase next year, but at this time that's not being requested. Rides, the same. Rides is very important for Village Northwest. Unlimited, we are doing this for them and not for rides. I mean, I've told rides that we value rides in our community, but this is a higher level of investment than other communities, and it's because of the value to the village. Children's World, this is a big one. You have 4% increase for their operational grant, which is pretty standard, plus the addition of a one-year pilot program for fiscal year 26. you want to talk about that real quick? I'm kind of springing this on you, but you've been a big part of this, Tanya.
So in discussions with the Board of Children's World, this is a pilot program to help bring back workers into the workforce for Sheldon through assistance with child care, because that does get pretty expensive, especially when you're talking infants. So the idea with the program is to kick it off with the city and then encourage partnerships with large employers who have employees using child care from Children's World and having them invest as well. So this is just to start it off, and then hopefully with the pilot program, we'll get more employers to come on as well.
Okay, so there's 28 infant spots at Children's World, and the idea would be to buy each one down to the tune of $2,080, which seems like an odd number, but that's $1 per hour in a working year. So that number made sense, and it'd be very clearly communicated as a one-year pilot, so it's not setting an expectation. We want to make sure that it works. And do you have anything to add to this one?
No, not really. Yeah, like Tanya said, I'm hoping that the city can kick it off and that we can, it would be a partnership that other businesses in town would be interested in joining forces with us. So, yeah.
Yeah, one of the
Excited
things,
about it.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I just said I'm excited about the opportunity.
So one of the things that Tanya and I talked about just today actually was, because part of the strategic visioning was to work up a larger plan on this, and one of the easier ways to do it, and there's multiple ways to get the word out, but one of the things that we could do is find out all of the businesses that have employees at Children's World and send each of them a letter saying, hey, we're doing $1 per hour. Would you consider doing $2 an hour and help your employees? And then let us know what you did if you don't mind, because I think that's a way to really generate buy-in. So, all right. Consultant and professional fees, this is a significant increase. I believe it was 100 or 120 this last year, but we aren't going to do an urban renewal plan update. In the past I've said that, and then we've ended up doing one anyway, but right now, so Todd was just looking at me, so I don't think we need to do one, and the goal is not to do one, but anyway, but parks, and remember parks and emergency services, those are both in the urban renewal plan, and both were identified and visioning as needing some planning. And so if we have some planning, that would come out of this. Okay? And you have anything to add to this? No? Okay. Feel free to interrupt. Water slide replacement. Todd, can you help me out on this one?
That's the children's slide at the existing pool, the one in the southeast corner of the pool. It's
I don't think your mic's on.
It's fiberglass and styrofoam type structure. It's just showing its age. It was put in when the pool was in, so it's been in since 2008, and it just needs to be replaced. And there's just not funds within the general fund, and this is a qualifying expense through urban renewal. The park board looked at multiple different options. Those stinking little slides are expensive. This was the one that they selected was not high end by any means, but more of a middle of the road. And it's something that would fit on the existing platform within the pool without having to redo the pool platform as well. So.
Okay. Anything you want to say regarding trees and drainage?
Trees, I guess, we don't need as much money in the urban renewal area coming up as we have gotten a lot of those out. The need is bigger in the non-urban renewal areas. And then drainage, there's the rebid of the 16th Street in Wyman. project that we rejected this past fiscal year. And then based on strategic planning, there's a project we've had in the hopper for a while, which is to put in culverts along Highway 18, by the car wash, Larry's Repair area, Sheldon Auto area, and try to dress up that corridor through there. So the drainage is part of a bigger vision, but the drainage will be the quickest impact to improving the look of the corridor and something that's affordable within the dollars that we have.
Can that be tied in when DOT does Highway 18?
No,
Okay,
no, we missed that.
okay.
Yeah. That project actually bid a few weeks ago.
Okay.
All right. Anything you wanted to say on cemetery?
Unless there's questions, it's road improvements, trees, and stone repairs.
All right. Pavilion, I've got answer there that basically speaks for itself, but the 63,000 that was in lost for this current fiscal year, remember it was moved to the middle of the year to be reevaluated. Three of us and Tricia, we recommend that that we not do the wall, or the pavilion prefers to wait on the wall, and their priority right now is their shed. So there is language now in the urban renewal plan for the pavilion, so that $100,000 to help them with the shed. The rest of it would come from their funds. That would be requested from TIF and none from lost. Okay. Land purchases. Recommend setting aside $671,000, and combined with the funds already set aside, you could proceed with an options exercise if you decide not to buy it now, which I would understand. It's recommended you keep the funds sequestered to avoid a scramble as expiration date approaches. Since if you do a note, then you have a potential you have additional hearings and a potential referendum but if you save the funds then and hold a public hearing, you still have public input, but you don't have it's easier to avoid having a situation where there's an expiration and you lose out. So my recommendation is, and I think this mirrors with some on SCDC, that is, if the goal is to buy the land eventually, just buy it, and maybe sooner rather than when the options go up, and then you can get the land rent revenue. If you're thinking that you want to leave the option open to allow the options to expire completely, then wait a little bit longer, but don't wait until the last year to decide, because that creates too much of a strain to try to figure out. And there are notices. We're not, how do I say this? When Kurt and I talked about this when he was here, he recommended there would be courtesy notices for exercising the options that aren't as much required in the paperwork. So if you want to do the courtesy notice process and give plenty of time for the grantsters to find 1031 exchange ground and all of that, then sooner rather than later. So probably a 2-year lead time. Last but not least, this is important. We have been releasing TIF over the last number of years, and we've released Runger, we've released Skemper, we've released Sunshine, and one other, can't remember. And then just recently we released the Quick Star neighborhood, which put $150,000 in raw increment, and many times that in actual valuation back on the tax rolls. It remains in the urban renewal area. but the increment has been released to the other taxing entities, including the city.
Any questions from anybody? And we will get more in depth, I guess, when we get into the budget planning and some of this.
Mhm.
All right. I think we can move on then into our reports. Anything else you want to report, Sam?
No.
Okay. Todd, anything further from you?
Just that, in the next 30 days, we have 3 important projects going to bid. So we'll be bidding Western Avenue, we'll be bidding the PCC, patching project, which is some 23rd, and we'll be bidding the, West Water Tower. So we've got, probably between $4.5 and $5.5 million worth of work we're going to bid here in the next month. So, pray for good numbers.
What was the PTC patch project?
So the patching project north of the middle school that we rejected bids on earlier this fiscal year, that the revised portion of that project goes back up.
Okay. All right. Tanya, anything further from you?
Just an update on the housing incentive that we put out at the Sheldon Crossing. The committee did get together to review the offers that we received. So we'll be working on finalizing on those offers that were approved.
Okay.
You guys still have 2 outstanding.
Correct. We still have 2 outstanding lots with some interest, but if anybody else is still interested, we have 2 outstanding lots that we still have offers.
All right. Angie, anything from you?
No. Oh, actually, wait. I'm going to try and get all the budget stuff uploaded tomorrow. So you'll have 5 nights of lovely reading.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
5 nights, she said.
All right. Anything from the council on my left?
Thank you.
No.
To my right?
We have Crowley's here, and I just wanted to say thank you for your service to our community, Dan, and I wish you well in your future.
Thanks, Dan.
Thank you, Dan.
Yeah, that was going to be my comment.
I was going to say that, too.
You too. We had it covered multiple times. So yes, thank you. We appreciate your service. Wish you well in your new endeavor. So with that, I would take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Roll call, please.
Eggers.
Aye.
Ostra.
Aye.
Hamel.